Sometimes you just go off. Massive respect to Zearoe for that one. Crazy out of control. And so we'll bounce to game number 3. P's and B's pretty please as we take a look at CryptiK versus Sanguine one last time. The rubber match off to the races. First ban will be the Naja. That character certainly has an impact, so no Lotus Prince.
I almost want to see them just ban the Achilles for the heck of it. I don't know that I would really trust myself to really want to have to deal with Zearoe on this Achilles yet again.
Sure. I mean, it was out of control. The Achilles, I think, was a special priority pick specifically for the Khepri. Give Zearoe, I mean, anything aggressive, I'm down. It's what he does. He can continue to do it. Also, no Sylvanas solo, please and thanks.
Well, Sanguine are staying consistent. All 3 games so far, Freya, Arthur, no variation whatsoever, and it's clear that their intent here is just to try and ensure that Zearoe isn't going to be able to spam anybody down, and neither will BennyQ or sops on the Freya.
Nice look there. CryptiK will pick up the Bacchus first and foremost, leaving Jing to be the first selection across the way on Sanguine. They're going to pair their Jump Hunter with a Vamana. Nice look. Knockups, take it away. No big deal. Bacchus. I love Jing as the answer to Bacchus. You get knocked up, you can dash out.
I'm not sold that this is a Vamana pick either for Panitom just yet. I think that there's definitely some possibilities for this Vamana to end up in the solo lane. But if it is Vamana in the jungle, I think that that would be a nice change of pace for Panitom. He probably wants something that he can not only continue to play aggressive with, but just dive.
Thor, also a great look against Vamana. The wall stops that dash. Vamana really just runs at you. The wall, one of the few things that can stop him. Don't forget, you can walk through an Odin cage now. So very important stuff to look at with the pickup of the Thor there next to the Soul.
I'm only laughing because I can't tell you how many times I've seen people that just, it slips their mind. It really does. It's an easy thing to just forget about in the heat of the moment. Nowadays, you know, a little bit less uncommon, but interesting third ban choice selection for Sanguine here. BennyQ on that Artemis, they say no more, but those boars were very restricting.
Yeah, the team fight ultimate out of the Artemis, certainly not something to really discount. So I'm going to ban out the Hunter right there. Shibalanke also a ban here from Sanguine. So really looking directly at BennyQ, saying, listen, we're going to make you uncomfortable, so what else can you play? In fact, I wouldn't be surprised here. I want this 4th pick to be a Hunter, even though we have Jing. I want to see a mid-Hunter here for Sanguine. I don't think they're going to do it, though.
Muzen Cobb is still available, though, and that's something that Sanguine actually opted to ban out in the last game. So curious now to see whether or not BennyQ chooses to take the AMC into the duo lane. Would be really strong pressure and poke potential, I think, alongside of the Bacchus. Ravana also being solidified here definitely leads me to believe that that's Thor in the jungle. Yeah, Ravana being played in the short lane. We'll see. Thor solo. I mean, Thor solo also a thing, right? Thor solo can be a thing, for sure. I mean, even against the Vamana, it wouldn't be an awful matchup, but Thor, honestly, with Ravana's switch up these days, I don't know who I'd rather have in the solo lane, frankly. I think I like the idea of Ravana and solo lane only because Thor might have a bit of an easier time just picking the Vulcan off or getting better poke, because you want that range poke, and I think Ravana can definitely struggle with that, having to get into melee range to do anything. Kuang again finds himself selected in the 10th spot. Absolutely crazy. A ton of power on both sides. Someone's got to win and bring us the victory. Finch, tell us who it'll be.
Sanguine and CryptiK. It's time for that final match. And thanks again, Tom, and Talk on the Desk. It's Finch and Anatoly bringing you the call. Doug, yet again, is the one that's showing us who's who, bringing us all the views, and Ronngyu on the Artio. I thought maybe he was looking for some aggression, but no, he just stepped up a bit.
Jarcorrr playing the Vamana, going for the Mage's Blessing yet again. Probably will see the Traveler Shoes out of him, but Zearoe playing the Thor. A solo lane. I love this Thor, taking a page out of Baskin's book.
Man, this is impressive. After the game he just had for Team CryptiK on this Achilles, to go over to this Thor, is it going to have that same kind of solo carry potential that Achilles had? I'm not so sure, Toly. It can certainly be strong, but he feels like a facilitator more to me.
Oh, absolutely. Should be the case, actually, because this Thor needs to make the global pressure happen into the mid lane, which is why you normally pick the Thor. And look at all that damage. Mineral stunning out. Netrioid, BennyQ getting off the bees as well, already sitting at about 20% health. Netrioid is in a world of hurt. Ronngyu actually dashing into the purple buff as Mineral is going to try to contest this.
And this is a good idea. He already knows Ronngyu doesn't really have any abilities up, and they're low, so he can just come right in and bully them off, and he absolutely will. Now that means Sanguine has to fall back to the wave, and an early advantage for CryptiK.
Great start for CryptiK, but can they extend it even further by getting a kill? I don't think they're going to want to overstretch by going for that, because that is going to invite the door for some jungle ganks. Panitom doesn't have Blink, so it's not going to be too surprising of a gank, but if Sanguine's going to contest a wave like this and eat all the poke, then you could look for some kills like this.
And Mineral's jumping in aggressively, but there won't be any more follow-up after that. We talked about Tully, though, to jump over to solo, about how this Thor was going to be playing a setup man. And I think you're right, he likely will be facilitating, but for who? Is this about sops and getting him involved, or maybe this is a Muzen Cobb? Where's he looking?
I think he's going to be looking for sops rotations, right? Like, if you get stunned from Anvil of Dawn, it's a Tectonic Rift. That Stellar Burst Supernova out of sops is going to blow up Sheento if he's just not prepared. And Panitom, even expecting that possibility, goes for the beads at level 1. There's a lot of burst damage from CryptiK. The only problem is that they don't have defensive peels that could come back to haunt them, so any kills that they get now have to be stretched, or invades, just stretched to a little bit further.
I get what you're saying. You got to make sure they're getting the maximum value out of any of those kills to try and make up for some deficits later on, as Jarcorrr is able to grab the Totem of Ku. It's been a back and forth battle so far on that one, but Zearoe's the one who's low right now on health and out of options for sustain, so Jarcorrr is going to bully him a bit.
And that's what you got to do, just sneeze on him whenever you can. When you're playing the Vamana and you're maxing out, that second ability is just so easy to just poke him out. But Fates around the corner does have Blink, just waiting for the blue buff to respawn. Not going to see anything out of him quite yet, as Totem of Ku was already taken away.
Knock up into the beads. Ronngyu takes a lot of poke, but he is Artio. Goes back into that Druid form, gets some healing, and Mineral and BennyQ will have to slow down for now.
The problem with Ronngyu playing the Artio is if he wants to heal from his first ability in Druid form, it's such close range that he's in position to get destroyed by BennyQ and Mineral. So he's going to have to rely on that third ability to get off better sustain. I wouldn't be surprised if that's the direction that he opts to level, as opposed to the one which would normally deal more damage.
Normally it would. It also would mean he'd be getting a little more love towards that dash, which you sometimes see. He's still level 3, though, so for now we don't know exactly where he'll go, but we'll have a chance to see momentarily. As you said, he's been under some pressure from this Muzen Cobb Bacchus. No surprise.
Definitely.
So he's got to find some kind of way to stay alive.
Losing their second purple buff in a row. CryptiK getting their own purple buff earlier. It's due to respawn in about 45 seconds or so they could get that one. Rotating on the left-hand side is Fates, playing this Robin. Actually did get a second point into that first ability. It does a lot of damage on the bear swipes, and that's normally the goal. But now that Zearoe has backed with this Blackthorn's hammer, there could be a lot more poke now onto Jarcorrr.
Absolutely can be. He'll have more MP5 and cooldown to speak from. Plenty of health to sort of limit Jarcorr's potential here, as Jarcorr's elected to go yet again with this Talaria boot start, which is something we've seen become more popular. Even some junglers picking it up. I got to imagine, totally, that the MP5 and that movement speed's pretty nice.
Oh, yes. Absolutely. 25% movement speed out of combat. Jarcorrr trying to clear the way, but he puts himself just far enough out of position to prevent that Tectonic Rift. Could easily look for more poke or just continue finishing off that Totem of Ku. No, he's going to look for poke, because Zearoe is playing very bold, trying to clear the wave outside the tower line, and with Zero's teleport already down for another 145 seconds, this is a good opportunity for Jarcorrr to be aggressive.
I wonder if there's any chance he might use the ultimate to get back to lane a little quicker. If he does take an early back, we'll have to worry about this 2v2 instead, as Panitom gets caught out by Fates at the blue buff. Zearoe doing his best to contribute from range. It looks like they could not quite stop them from defending the buff. And now, first blood, Jarcorrr gets dunked.
Wow, couldn't even use Colossal Fury. Panitom using the beats after Anvil of Dawn, because he's going to get chased down by Fates as well. This time, Ronngyu making the rotation. Belch of the Gods off the mark, but Zearoe gets off the Tectonic Rift. Blue buff was secured from CryptiK, but now they're the ones looking for an invade of their own.
Rongyu's here, but he's too late. That means both blue buffs going the way of Team CryptiK. Flop off the mark from Mineral, and Panitom, who has those dragons up, actually looks for a bit more, but nothing more comes of it. A successful fight around solo for the Order side.
Jarcorrr needed to be on the trigger finger with Colossal Fury during the belly flop. Once that CC happened, he was just destined to fall. A little bit too much damage from a Thor that's maxing out that Nolnor's attunement. sitting at level 7 with 4 ability points. It's quite a bit of damage against a Vamana that has yet to, or finally picking up a physical defense item.
And that's got to be a huge source of frustration for Jarcorrr, who in the 1v1 has earned the pressure in this lane, right? But then once the rotations start happening, Panitom, Fates, and Mineral join the fray, then things turn back in favor of Zearoe on this side.
Well, it was all a facade because early on, Zearoe put himself at a deficit because he was rushing for this Blackthorn's hammer. He didn't go for the health chalice, so that 300 gold was invested into a power spike play. Jarcorrr could look for these kinds of trades before level 7, knowing that he has these 3 health potions at his disposal anytime.
He's going to use that advantage to come down and start proxying the wave and free himself up to look elsewhere for farm. That's why you see him rotating towards these back harpies. But he'll meet Fates here. Fates playing on the Ravana this time, and he doesn't want to deal with that.
Something I wanted to point out, but hold that thought though, because there's going to be another invade on the right side because this time Sanguine has 4 members.
Oh my goodness, they're bringing everybody. The roots should land. Fates is forced into the ultimate to get away, and now Sanguine can come back towards this blue buff and make sure they secure it. So Zero's nearby, not much you can do to out-secure 4.
Sops not even making the rotation happen. Instead, Zearoe taking a little bit of poke under his own tier 1 tower, dishing it back onto Jarcorrr as well. Something I wanted to point out before the previous invade, not that one, was when Panitom finished off that Totem of Ku. Fates, without an ultimate, I don't see how he's going to kill out Netrioid.
He's definitely going to keep up the chase, though, and Netrioid's happy to take the fight, but he still has the airstrike available. As long as he's got that safety factor, he's okay, and he comes right back in with it, knowing the rest of Sanguine's rotating in.
Ronngyu needed to be in position to root out Fates without that Mystic Rush. This Ravana is a sitting duck, but good peels by the rest of CryptiK. Mineral was able to stun him out and keep his jungler alive a little bit longer.
These jungles are being traded back and forth totally. The blue buff for blue buff, invade for invade. Now the red buff being looked at by CryptiK as well. They at least force out the ultimate from Netrioid, but I think at this point he doesn't mind. Though I am noticing he's got a significant deficit to BennyQ. Once they got that early advantage, they never really gave it up.
No, definitely not. Hitting level 10 as opposed to Netrioid that just hit level 8. BennyQ has just been quietly farming at his will. Because of all these rotations from Mineral, he's even been able to make some plays happen as he has 1 assist after that first blood. Giving up all that farm in the dual lane has certainly helped this in Muzen comp.
Yeah, and at this point, he could probably count on the junglers being on the solo side when the blue buff spawns at the very least. So he really knows he can stamp up and bully this Jing who's just not going to be able to match him in terms of trading.
Well, the thing is, the Jing for Netrioid has Devil Gloves, so he has to sustain with the basic attacks, but that means you're going to have to get in range of BennyQ's basic attacks, and he's got some abilities at his disposal that's going to outburst the kind of sustain that you're certainly hoping for, especially now that Transcendence has been completed.
Jarcorrr knocked up by Mineral, but without Zearoe in position, there shouldn't be any more follow-up from that, and so Jarcorr's going to leave. That means blue buff is defended. Fates was indeed on this side of the map yet again, but they didn't need him to be heavily involved, but as expected, blue buff spawning junglers here.
They're looking for a play on the right side of the map, looking for the Anvil of Dawn right before Colossal Fury. Plenty of burst damage onto Jarcorrr. The 35 physical protection from Silver Breastplate, just not enough.
He just wasn't expecting it. Like you said, he's got to be prepared for the Anvil of Dawn or for this CC to come through so we can use the ultimate, but he didn't expect it this time. They don't have any vision down there, and yet again, he gets punished.
See, that's the thing. When you're playing against a global jungler, you will be expecting that kind of play, but when you're against a global solo laner and he's in your lane, that's the least thing that you're worried about.
Yeah, unfortunate. So far, Zearoe getting good value out of this Thor. He was the one that was the key playmaker for them in Game 2, and so far he's doing well in Game 3, paired up with Fates and pressuring out Jarcorrr in this solo lane matchup.
Yeah, just a wonderful Game 2 Achilles performance. Game number 1, a little bit quiet, I would say, on his Naja, but it was still making a lot of plays.
That's the hammer down for Zearoe. I think that's why they're aggressing onto him, but Sheento can't follow up because Fates and
good shell.
double team him to take him down, and Zearoe makes it out thanks to a great play from Ronngyu. Now an execute comes through from Panitom. They finally answer back. It's 1 for 1.
He was looking at maybe going on to Zearoe, but the hammer separates the distance even further. Left-hand side, BennyQ doesn't want to rotate. He's sitting at level 12. He's going to get himself a tier 1 tower.
Hey, Benny, we're having fights. Huh? Benny, we're having fights. What? I can't hear you. I'm too busy farming my lane as he takes down the tier 1, level 13 now.
And right now he's saying, "You're welcome, idiots." Thank me for the 500 gold.
Exactly, man. So they've got him in the oven at the very least. So despite all the attention on Jarcorrr, he's still close to where Zearoe is. But this disparity between the hunters is absurd.
It is absurd because also the stacks, right? Like 28 stacks of Transcendence for BennyQ as opposed to the 61 for Netrioid. Keep in mind, BennyQ was severely delayed of stacking this items. And the fact that he doesn't rotate is just allowing that gap to separate even further. Jarcorrr still sitting comfortable, I'd say, sitting at level 11, despite having the 2 deaths, so that's going to be a positive. And now that he has Breastplate of Valor, I don't expect him to die any longer.
I think Sanguine have given up on the duo side of the map. Look at all this attention they're showing towards Solo. Finally makes up into the Colossal Fury, but it might be too little too late. He is going to get some nice healing. Zearoe, though, wants to go right back in. Can't find anyone with the stun, but they do find the knock up into the hammer on the Ronngyu. Good stun. But Mineral doesn't have anything more.
Oh, the stun just not enough. Intoxicate wasn't in time. Mineral still waiting on that cooldown. Finally gets it off onto Panitom that has no mana. Zearoe off the mark with the hammer.
Gold?
Maybe it could be gold. He's being soloed without any sustain. BennyQ is just farming away like a beast.
Can he do it? He's gonna die.
No!
He's gonna die!
Oh my!
Oh, he got it totally. Wow. How did he know? He's stuck on it. BennyQ solos the Gold Fury with no lifesteal down to like 50, 100 HP.
You're welcome for the gold, idiots, is what BennyQ is saying. Not even close.
And now they have a chance to find a kill here on the Jarcorrr
he's
as well.
dead. He's
Hammer
dead,
catches up and the spin to win. Easy kill. And Fate should make it out. They'll juggle the aggro with the overhead kick. Easy peasy.
He would not have died regardless if he takes that kick, but it might have tempted out Sanguine to look for this dive. Sops was making the rotation here. Not going to deter them from ganking any longer. Sanguine's just yet again not making any plays happen thus far. They're the ones getting engaged on crypting all over the board.
I'm being told that Benny was down to 130 HP, so very close.
Just one more hit would have definitely sealed the deal. And the only reason, normally when you're getting that low as a hunter, regardless if you're playing AMC without lifesteal on the Gold Fury, you don't take the Gold Fury in the middle of the circle. You want to at least backpedal all the way to the edge so that way you can make the assessment. My man committed. He was going to either die to that Gold Fury or get it one way or another. So I think your game's at home, folks. At least bring it to the edge as you're soloing it.
Yeah, that's for cowards, not for BennyQ. He knew that he's going to take that objective. No, totally, you are wholly correct on that, to be near the edge.
Give yourself an out.
Yes, certainly make sure you have at least an option, because BennyQ's still not going into sustain. He went Crusher next, which is great. It feels good in a Muzen Cobb. I just don't know if he's going to do any more solo Gold Furies.
Well, the thing is, his team has a pretty significant experience advantage, I would say, in the jungle department, right? So as long as CryptiK can be aggressive enough that the rest of Sanguine can't counter dive onto BennyQ, that damage is just going to spread like wildfire. The bees as well, spreading the damage over time from the Crusher is going to be really obnoxious for Sanguine that doesn't have healing like they did last game with the Sylvanas onto Jarcorrr.
There's some aggression in middle lane. That tower has been slowly whittled down. That's kind of something Sol does over time. She only needs a little bit of time to whittle towers down. But Sob's now in trouble here in the middle lane. He's been caught by Ronngyu, but Sheento didn't have any follow-up damage, and this Sol's A-okay. But look at this heavy rotation. Finally, BennyQ's left to the oven. He's here to be part of the fight.
Ronngyu gonna get stunned out as well. Backfire into the mid lane. Anvil of Dawn off the mark. Fates goes up and down. Panitom water illusions away. Hammer off the mark, but the chase continues.
Zearoe was looking for Panitom on the left-hand side, but finds nothing. Sops is pushed right up in the middle lane, but it's Jarcorrr who comes in. He is in the Colossal Fury. He does get away, but they can't find anything else.
Netrioid now taking a page from BennyQ's book, and he's not rotating for a team fight.
Hey guys, there's a fight. He's not answering the phone.
Wait, what?
They're just going to take the tier 1 tower instead. And they should come over towards this objective as well. They have BennyQ finally rotating, make full advantage of this hunter. They are going to go right towards Pyromancer and start burning that down. Panitom and Jarcorrr are nearby, but they're not going to make it in time.
Oh my goodness.
That is it.
The DPS out of BennyQ, level 16 of Muzen Cobb, absolutely melting it. Wouldn't have had that kind of DPS with a lifesteal going for Devil Gloves. You got to have Transcendence for that kind of a play. And now trying to stretch their right side dominance into the tier 1 tower, adding another 500 gold to their pockets.
And And opening up the map quite a bit too. CryptiK now grouping up and forcing down objectives. They can't quite do the Fire Giant, so they settle for this instead. But can they find anything more to kind of make use of the fact that BennyQ's rotated this far?
Try to do something with Fates covering the option. Don't want to lose their tier 2 tower on the left-hand side, allowing more of a lead. Fates with the Brawler's beat stick now, looking for ways to mitigate some of the healing onto this Vamana. No Cursed on quite yet. Divine Ruin for Sops is a good look. I need to see the Pestilence, though, from somebody eventually. Maybe not right away, knowing how aggressive CryptiK is, but without the Pestilence, it'll be a little bit harder to kill out Jarcorrr.
This is some good news, though, for Netrioid. The XP gain for BennyQ has slowed down a bit now that he's not just sitting in lane farming up like a machine. So that's given Netrioid time to come back to relevance. But also remember, BennyQ hasn't backed and spent any gold since he bought that Crusher. So we could see a nice big power spike item coming out from him next. I would not be surprised if it was something like an Executioner or some attack speed to keep him moving.
It should be the Executioner. This is the perfect power play here. 24, 26 gold in hand. Should finish that up right away. I'll look for some sort of rotation. Gold Fury's respawning here soon, as it is the Primal Fury coming up. Oh, okay. Runeforged.
Who needs attack speed? I've got high.
Well, 55 power, you want... Your scaling is really high for a Muzen comp. It's obnoxiously high. Like, I'm pretty sure the Stinger's like about 90 or 100% scaling, so you're dealing much more damage with that Runeforged hammer.
All right, well, there you go. Benny knows better than I. He's got the hives maxed out.
110%
Nearly everything maxed out. And as you said, quite a bit of scaling there as well, so he's going to be hitting hard. Stingers really can hit you way harder than you expect sometimes, so BennyQ is going to pop.
An extra 60.5 damage from the Runeforged hammer. Absolutely bonkers as the Gold Fury very, very low. Mineral, I believe, secured it with the Intoxicate. The rest of CryptiK, though, wants the action because Panitom is dangerously low.
Zearoe cleans up that kill, and now they have the pincer maneuver to collapse onto the rest of Sanguine. Ronngyu is incredibly low. A big ultimate from Sops, and that sets up the kill onto the Artio. This team, CryptiK, can keep right on surging.
Sheento is in trouble, trying to get under his tier 2 tower. Uses the beads a little too early, and BennyQ not done yet. The Stinger, the dots, BennyQ with a double.
Yeah, Benny and Sops, man, that's too much damage from these hunters. That's 4 members down. They can come grab this mid lane Phoenix as well. Team CryptiK turn on the gas. All of a sudden, this Muzen Cobb is just too much.
Oh, it's absolutely melting. This middle Phoenix Finch, they got it. They secured it even before the first Fire Giant of the game. I thought CryptiK were going to set up a little bit of a trap or an ambush there, but man, like no rotation from Jarcorrr. He was on the left side of the map. Everyone's on the left side of the map just kind of farming. They're taking turns farming, whether it's BennyQ, Netrioid, Fates, Jarcorrr.
That's just the oven where you go over there to chill, trying to get back to relevance, because Jarcorrr has been kind of punished by Zearoe and Fates' attention on the right side of the map, so he's trying to get back to relevance. But what a play from CryptiK around this Gold Fury. Sheento didn't have enough information. The ultimate was a bit late. They secure it, and they're able to clean up the fight with Zero's ult.
And everyone was just a little bit too clumped up. Panitom taking too much damage to start things off with. Ronngyu gets pincered against the wall coming out of Zearoe. Great wall is coming out of him. Sheento used his beads a little bit too early before the important wall stun out of Zearoe. But honestly, everyone from CryptiK has enough of a CC to force the beads anyway, and Sheento was just overcommitted at that point. With the Primal Fury going down with all those picks, it was just easy pickings. CryptiK keep on going, get the middle Phoenix, and now going for a 20-minute Fire Giant.
Yeah, this is theirs all day long. Nothing Sanguine can do. We've been talking about the difference between these hunters, but look at the difference between the supports. Ronngyu just ticked over to level 12 and got his second relic. There's 3 levels, nearly 4, between Fates and Panitom in the jungle. There's big XP gaps all over the place.
Absolutely, but picking up the shell as his second relic slot, Ronngyu needs to look for some sort of more peeling options, because they know CryptiK are going to be the aggressors in this instance. And if BennyQ and Sops can just free cast in the team fights that they have been, I don't see a level 12 Artio lasting for very long.
No, and here's an example of it. Is already Ronngyu has to fall back.
Oh, look at Sheento.
The damage has been too much. Sheento's in trouble as Fates dives him in the back line. Right side Phoenix is already down, and Fates has not even paid a price in terms of HP. Zearoe comes in. Sops has the ultimate knock up into the double kill. That's a killing spree, and 4 down right away. Just like that, CryptiK not just take the fight, they take the game.
Wow, what a performance. 21 minutes into the game, only 1 death. Sorry,
Wow.
2 deaths
From Benny there at the end.
at the very end of
Too
it,
much
showing
taunting.
off a little bit. But great performance out of CryptiK, getting the win in that set.
What a really strong performance, I would say, from these two, from these two, and in particular, bouncing back from that tough game 1 loss too from CryptiK as well, because Sanguine really looked good. They fought back in like that 30-ish minute slugfest or so, but CryptiK looked like a better team towards the end.
That last game, it makes it look like these two teams are leaps and bounds different compared to one another. But if you look at the first 2 games, I would say like these teams, you know, have some potential at, you know, trading game for game. But that last one, man, that Thor from Zearoe, both of these solo laners taking a turn at playing like unorthodox picks. Sylvanas in game number 2, Thor for game number 3. I'm liking their diversity, trying to throw curveballs at their opposition.
And I don't know if you can give an Muzen Cobb a free pass like that throughout that early game. You just saw how damaging that could be. An impressive game there from CryptiK, a little bit more to work on from Sanguine, but let's get it back over to the desk. They can close out the day for us after a lot of action.
Fantastic job there, Anatoly and Finch on the broadcast, and great job coming out here. Sanguine and CryptiK honestly brought both of their good stuff. That's why we wind up with 3 games, but the victory does go one way, and what a fantastic game it was.
CryptiK wasn't ready to fumble the bag on this one either. They took no chances whatsoever in this final matchup. The Fates did an excellent job, though, on the Ravana. Really made sure to make his presence known. And I think that utilizing the Ravana in such an aggressive manner normally might not have panned out too well for him against Sanguine's composition, but because he had the Bacchus there for Mineral to fall back on, I think that's what really permitted him to have a little bit more room to work with.
Absolutely. I think Mineral, so I've said this from minute 1, that Mineral has the support instincts that I really like to see, and the aggressive nature as well that you need to have if you're going to pick these Bacchus selections. And we didn't see it on the highlight reel, but that last play that they make, the triple knockup from Mineral, that in a nutshell, triple knockup from Mineral and then let IFates kind of do it, that's really the game right there. So fantastic stuff. Team CryptiK with the win.
And the player damage might look low, but I can assure you that it really is pretty high for a Thor to have done 11k damage in a 20-minute match, especially with the way that Sanguine was constantly trying to turtle this match back into a more controlled pacing, but they just never really had a moment to slow things down because of how aggressive CryptiK kept going. They had the pressure and they just kept pushing on the gas pedal.
20 minutes. What a quick game. With that said, that's going to be the end of our minor league day. We'll take a snapshot of the league and see where everybody stands. In North America, Armada stands very tall, 3-0. CryptiK, the team that just won, find themselves in 2nd place.
And as for everybody else, well, everybody's still working towards trying to catch up to Armada. Space Station Gold, maybe next week will be their chance to get their first set win.
Yeah, it's possible. Sanguine over there in the 3rd position. Very fantastic stuff. And just a great overall day, I think, of the minor league. And if you joined us late and you want to catch up on it, well, that's what tomorrow's for. Esports Weekly is going to be it's going to be a great show. We go live at I believe 4 p.m. We'll be here and talking about the minor league, the console league, and perhaps most importantly, the pro league.
4 p.m. Eastern, by the way, for any of you European folk or, you know, elsewhere that might be wondering what time zone to be paying attention to.
For sure. As I said, tomorrow's Esports Weekly. Thursday is the return of the Smite Pro League. So I'm going to get rested up for that. For myself, Taco, John Finch, Anatoly, Hindu Man, Oi, and everyone else. Peace and much love to you.